So many home video enthusiasts, including myself, have always asked the question, why is Disney so bad at releasing their TV shows? And is there anyone to blame for this? Well, I think I found the answer. In light of recent news, I think that we can pinpoint the problems to one individual. Bob Chapek?
It's morphin' time!
Hello, this is Soundout here, and before I begin, I do want to say I'm not blaming Bob Chapek for everything. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, Buena Vista Home Entertainment, which later became Walt Disney Studios Home Entertainment, is a company that was made up of multiple people who make multiple decisions that were led by a man named Bob Chapek. In fact, this is what's kind of funny, is that I didn't quite realize that former CEO Bob Chapek, who just got ousted from the Disney company and replaced with his predecessor Bob Iger, which is a crazy news story of the week, that happened. The thing I ended up finding out while kind of looking into Mr. Bob Chapek was that he started in the home entertainment division of Disney in 1993, overseeing their VHS releases. Yeah, he was a Michael Eisner appointed guy. Eisner's doing his whole Disney decade thing, and apparently he needed somebody to take over the VHS stuff for the home entertainment division. And Bob Chapek apparently was the guy. He was a marketing director from 1993 to 2006, before becoming the president of the home entertainment division in 2006, before leaving that position to go be part of Disney Consumer Products in 2011. Now, why are these dates significant, and why am I making a whole video to basically blame the lack of a complete gargoyles set on Bob Chapek? Well, that's what the video's about. Because ultimately, when it comes down to it, Bob Chapek was in charge of the home entertainment division of Disney for, well, a long time. From 1993 to 2011, while he was only the president from 2006 to 2011, he is credited for pushing Disney into DVD, for pushing them into Blu-ray, for coming up with ideas such as the Disney Vault. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a moment too. But when it comes down to it, ultimately, at the end of the day, if he's kind of in charge and he's credited as being the one to push these ideas, then he's the one to blame if we have any grievances. That's usually how corporations work, right? And certainly how that ended up happening. But let's talk about specifically why I feel that Disney has sort of failed at their TV releases and just in general their home media division as a whole. So as you may or may not know, I'm a Disney fan. I'm wearing a Three Caballeros jacket with an Oswald the Lucky Rabbit pin on it because I like the obscure stuff. This also means that I'm underrepresented when it comes to merchandise in the Disney empire, basically. I bought this jacket because it's got the Three Caballeros on it. That was the selling point, because when do you ever see merchandise with them? But the point is that when it comes to home video, I always am looking for certain things from Disney. I'm a huge Tron fan. I'm a big fan of Gargoyles. Of course, I'm a big Marvel fan. If you've seen the videos on the channel, you know that. I'm also a big Star Wars fan. But when it comes down to it, the things that Disney owns and the things that Disney has made, usually I'm the more obscure stuff on the Disney side. So sometimes I can be like, oh man, it's a bummer that Tronuprising doesn't have a DVD release. Yeah, it also got canceled for low ratings because the network hated it and kept putting it in a death slot in the middle of Sunday mornings at like 3 a.m. So I don't necessarily expect them to release that on home video because, well, they didn't want it in the first place. But when it comes down to some of their more popular shows, the fact that they don't have complete disc releases is kind of astounding. And so when it comes down to it, I think a lot of people that collect home video, that collect Disney stuff on home video, are looking at some gaps in their collections. The biggest physical example I can provide here is Gargoyles. Now, Gargoyles is a beloved show. It's a show that's now popular enough to produce $40 NECA action figures with gigantic wings. And ultimately, I think that it's an iconic classic of Disney. Not necessarily because it fits the original Disney brand, but it is kind of this darker gothic show. But it is a Disney show. It aired on the Disney afternoon block. This is an iconic, beloved show. So, on their 10th anniversary, they released the first season of Gargoyles, the first 13 episodes, on a 2-disc DVD set in 2004. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, they put out season 1, they were intending to continue this, yes. So Season 2, Volume 1 of Gargoyles came out in 2005. All right, so a year later, not too bad. When did Season 2, Volume 2 come out? 2014, with a 2013 Disney Movie Club exclusive release first. What happened in the, 9 years between these, right? So here's the thing. This was during the time that Bob Chapek was in charge of the Disney Home Entertainment Division, and this was after. Yeah, it still doesn't complete the show, though. We're still missing Season 3, The Goliath Chronicles, which was never released. I only assume because this didn't sell, but shouldn't Disney be a large enough company that enjoys and preserves its legacy to release something, even if it's sold low? I mean, this originally was a Disney Movie Club exclusive, so where's the Disney Movie Club exclusive Season 3? So, yeah, it's kind of weird how this has worked out. And the thing is, I did some research. I figured maybe it's just Gargoyles. Maybe Gargoyles just isn't popular enough. Well, that's where the depressing part comes in because, well, some of the most popular Disney shows, specifically the animated ones, don't have good releases. So let's talk about the Disney afternoon block, because I think for a lot of people growing up in the 90s, this was an iconic block of shows from the late 80s, early 90s into the late 90s. This was an afternoon block that was very iconic, and these shows are collectively referred to as the Disney afternoon shows. So naturally, these are probably some of the most popular, and being some of the older animated Disney shows means that these would have the highest form of nostalgia and should have the most amount of home video. Right? Okay, let's talk about what went well. Sort of. DuckTales. DuckTales is an iconic show, had a reboot. The reboot got 1 DVD. The original was completely released between 2003 and 2018 because the last volume was a Disney Movie Club exclusive. 4 volumes, though, it completed it. I believe they also released the DuckTales movie, so it's a complete set. It just took 15 some odd years to happen. Now, Rescuerangers, chipanddalerescuerangers. This was released in 2 volumes in 2005 and 2006, and that boy was done. Why was that one done when all the others got left behind? I don't know. And I also don't know, outside of there was a Disney Plus movie and they wanted to promote it, that show got a complete Blu-ray in 2022, which was not a Disney Movie Club exclusive, even though it was originally one. It came out at retail. So yeah, Chippendales Rescue Rangers somehow got the best treatment out of all of these. The other one with the complete set, Talespin. Of course, started in 2006, finished in 2013 with its last volume being exclusive to Disney Movie Club. I wish the others were so lucky. For example, the first Disney afternoon show, Adventures of the Gummibears, 1 volume in 2006 containing 47 episodes, which means 48 episodes are missing. Let's see. Darkwingduck, 2 volumes between 2006 and 2007, 54 episodes, meaning 37 are missing. Gooftroop, 3 volumes between 2006 and 2013, that counts for 54 episodes, meaning 25 are missing. It's just like Gargoyles, where they went and made another volume later, didn't finish it. They didn't finish the job. Bonkers has no DVD. Aladdin had 3 episodes and some Princess DVD samplers, and isn't even on Disney Plus because of some rights issue that probably connects to CBS, and that probably is a whole video for a different type of channel. Gargoyles, of course, we have 3 volumes between 2004 and 2013, accounting for 65 episodes, meaning 13 are unreleased. And then the fun part. Schnookums and Meat Funny Cartoon Show, which is a show I don't even remember, no DVDs. Timon and Pumbaa, no DVDs. Quack Pack, 3 episodes on 1 DVD in 2006. Mighty Ducks, no DVD. 101 Dalmatians, no DVD. And Hercules, no DVD. Kind of sad, really, when you realize that only 3 of the shows got complete, and 2 of the shows, being Gooftroop and Gargoyles, got picked back up just to get dropped again. And I really wonder what happened here. Now, of course, the Disney Channel wasn't just the Disney afternoon shows. There was plenty of shows, especially in the 2000s. Now, in the 2000s would be the era of DVD. So while those 90s shows could be kind of written off as, well, maybe the Masters weren't good enough. Some of those shows on Disney Plus, the Masters definitely were decent enough to put it on Disney Plus so they could put it on a disc, but I digress. The Disney 2000 shows would be released as promotional things, promote the show with a home video release. And while I didn't get an entire list because there's a lot of shows between Disney Channel and Toon Disney, which later became Disney XD. I wanted to highlight some of the more popular ones and ones I cared about because that was a little bit easier than giving an entire list. Most of the live action shows hardly got shows released on DVD outside of the direct-to-video features or the Disney Channel original movies that got DVDs. Yeah, there's just like nothing for those shows. If you love That's So Raven, you're not going to own it on DVD. Sorry. But let's talk about some of their 2000 shows that were popular. For example, Kimpossible, one of their most popular shows to the point where they gave it a live-action remake as a Disney Channel special. Kimpossible had 2 complete seasons released on DVD. Season 3 had some volumes, and Season 4 got nothing. There, of course, was the 2 direct-to-video movies, which later aired on Disney Channel, but the show was left mostly incomplete, despite being one of their more popular series. And they could have been releasing those alongside the show. No excuses there. Other shows, like The Proud Family, didn't receive a single DVD outside of its direct-to-video Proud Family movie until 2022, when they put out a box set of the entire series for Proud Family, including the shorts and the movie, and the episodes not on Disney+, probably just to promote Proud Family louder and prouder. I'll take it. I'm glad that this finally came out. It's just kind of insane that this is the 2000s Disney show with a complete series release. I appreciate that. But it's weird that's the only one, because Lilo and Stitch is one of Disney's most popular brands, specifically the Stitch part, which there is so much Stitch merchandise out there. Can you believe that there was like one episode released on the series finale direct-to-video movie, and that's it? Nothing else. Like, you can watch the whole show on Disney+, but no DVDs of this show, despite it being fairly popular. Also, other shows, Emperor's New Scroll, that was a movie tie-in show, no DVDs. American Dragon Jake Long, that was a favorite of mine, no DVDs. It just seemed like they weren't really that interested in releasing their shows on home video. Why? We'll answer that in a minute. But let's talk about another popular show, Phineas and Ferb. This one was really long-running, really popular. This was started in 2007, so it's in the DVD era. Yeah, outside of its first movie and its Marvel and Star Wars crossovers, which contain some bonus episodes of the show, no DVD release. This is just the problem with Disney, because I think that they started a precedent of not really releasing shows on disc, and it didn't carry forward when Chapek left the company. Left to go be the parks guy. But the point is that there's shows that should have been released that weren't. But then there's other weird things. For example, Gravityfalls got a complete set from Shout Factory. This is Disney. They are like this massive company that has their own movie club to release exclusive stuff, and Shout was the one that had to push to get Gravity Falls released. Let me add to this as well. Tangled the series, which was popular, but only lasted 3 seasons. Great show. Blu-ray release, exclusive to Disney Movie Club, and by golly, is this the example for all Disney shows right here. Just put it out as a complete set, put it on Disney Movie Club, get people to sign up for Disney Movie Club, which if they're buying Disney Blu-rays and DVDs, this is a good option. I should do a video on Disney Movie Club specifically. It's too much for this video, but if you buy Disney stuff regularly on disc, Disney Movie Club's a good deal. But that's the thing. There's a lot of shows in the 2000s, a lot of them are popular, and yet most of them don't have anything at all. And that's kind of insane to me. What's also insane is the undercapitalization of Marvel. Now, prior to the acquisition of Marvel by the Disney company, Disney actually owned the rights to several Marvel TV shows, which they purchased from Fox Kids/Saban when they bought Fox Kids/Saban. That was a big purchase, of course, that got them Power Rangers, which also saw incomplete season sets where they'd only put out 5 single-disc releases and never complete a season outside of Operation Overdrive. That all adds to this. I have a point I'm making here. But when Marvel was acquired by Disney, you think they would have pumped things out, which they did, but they also didn't. So early on, Disney put out a complete box set of the 1967 Spider-Man series, which has never seen reprint, and that show isn't on Disney+. What the heck happened to that? I own it. It's in a box somewhere. This video was sort of on the fly, so I couldn't find it. That's a complete series DVD set for a show they didn't even make, and yet that show can't even be watched on Disney+. I mean, they got Spider-Woman on Disney+, but not 60s Spider-Man, the arguably more famous show. I mean, it has the iconic Spider-Man, that theme song, right? Weird. Okay, here's another one. In 2009, which would have been, right around the time that Fox was putting out X-Men Origins Wolverine, between 2009 and 2010, 5 DVDs of the 90s X-Men came out. Sure, the episodes are out of order, and 2 of them were, for some reason, underprinted, being 2 and 4. That whole show got a whole release. Fantastic Four in 2005, to tie into the Fox movie, which is ironic because Disney would later buy Fox. That got a complete DVD set. Iron Man in 2010 to tie in with Iron Man 2. Got a complete DVD set. Spider-Man, the animated series, the iconic show that a lot of people really love. 5 sporadic DVDs. And I mean sporadic because in total, this gives you 22 episodes of the show out of its 65 episode run. Why? Here's the thing. Even after buying Marvel, they just don't release this show. They have the rights to it. It's all on Disney+. I mean, it was out of order for like 2 years, but it's all there and it's in order now. Where's the season sets? This show would sell. It's incredibly popular. All right, how about some of the other shows they acquired? Incredible Hulk? No DVDs. Silversurfer? No DVDs. Spider-Man Unlimited? No DVDs. Avengers Unite They Stand? Thank God no DVDs. They all got DVDs in Germany, but no DVDs in the US from Disney, or at the time, Buena Vista Home Entertainment. Later shows, after the Marvel purchase, like Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, it had 6 DVD volumes, providing complete set. And in Canada, they got complete Season 1 and Season 2 on Blu-ray. No Blu-rays here, just DVDs for us Americans. Sometimes it is better in Canada. And then adding to that, Disney's more recent shows, which would have been in the post-Chapek home video center, Ultimate Spider-Man had 13 episodes released on a 2-disc DVD set, and nothing else, which means, 13 out of 104 episodes. And Avengers Assemble got 5 episodes slapped together as a movie, and that means 5 out of 127 episodes. With Hulk, Agents of Smash, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Marvel Spider-Man receiving no DVD releases whatsoever. So what is my point that I'm getting to with all this, now that we've gone through a basic history? I think Chapek didn't like multi-disc sets. Now hear me out. Bob Chapek, as an executive, is probably a guy that you would want to have for your company. He is a numbers guy. Everything we've seen him do, everything that's been said behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, everything he's talked about is revenue. He wants to make sure that the bottom line of the company is stable. He wants to make sure costs are down on the actual production side so that revenue can be up. That's great for other companies, but Disney is a creative company. They're known for being an iconic animation studio. So when Bob Chapek was cutting animation jobs because the stock market wasn't doing well, it kind of made people upset. And including me. As you can tell by the smile I'm forcing through this. But when it comes down to it, if Bob Chapek is a numbers guy, which, of course, he probably always has been, this is the crux of my argument here. If Bob Chapek, as the CEO, had more of a spotlight on him, seeing more of his business, more so than when he was in charge of the parks, more so than when he was in charge of products, more so when he was in charge of home video. The home entertainment division didn't really have a lot of spotlight put on it because it's just a small part of the company. It's essentially just, hey, let's release Lady and the Tramp on DVD. Not so much, hey, we need to release the live-action Lady and the Tramp on Disney+, and if it doesn't get this many ratings, it will be considered a flop, but we also have to put it out there because streaming is a juggernaut, and we have to make sure people don't cancel. So the thing is that the pressure put on this DVD release was way less. So that means the spotlight put on the home entertainment division was way less. But the more that I'm looking at it, the more that I'm realizing that Disney Home Entertainment didn't like doing more than 2 discs. For example, this Lady and the Tramp 30th anniversary DVD, which thank goodness was lying under the TV for an example here, is the Platinum Edition. This was a Disney Vault kind of thing. They would have this out for a couple months and then put it away and not let you buy it for 2 years. The Disney Vault was a dumb idea. It was creating false scarcity. More on that as well. But you can see, 2-disc set, 1-disc movie, 1-disc bonus features. Pretty simple. Manufacturing a 2-disc set is not that expensive in the long run, right? So it kind of makes some sense that, you would put out a 2-disc set for Lady and Tramp. There's enough bonus content. Going into the Blu-ray era, something like the Lilo and Stitch 2 movie collection would have 2 DVDs for the movies, but then both movies are on 1 Blu-ray. 3-disc set, you know, kind of sort of normal stuff. We saw 3-disc sets during the digital copies are discs era, like with Winnie the Pooh here was a Blu-ray, DVD, and digital copy disc. But then other movies such as The Rocketeer was just a single Blu-ray disc. So it does seem like low discounts were totally a thing, which is also why it's weird when you open up Tangled and this thing's got like 6 Blu-rays. 6 Blu-rays. I'm not used to seeing this from Disney. For example, when it comes to these other things I've been talking about, like gargoyles, that was a, God, I forgot about this. My pet peeve stacked discs, especially with DVD. This is a 3-disc set with all the discs stacked on top of each other. So, you know, when it comes down to it, you could do 2 to 3 discs for a season. But if you were going to try to do a complete set, well, you're going to need more DVDs. And even this Proud Family set, it's on 6 discs, which isn't the best, but it's an early 2000s digitally animated show, so it's okay in most cases. When it comes down to it, it does seem like there was an avoidance for multi-disc sets from the Disney Home Entertainment division. And why would that be important to this argument? Bob Chapek, Mr. I'm going to bring the production costs down so the revenue goes up, would not like multi-disc sets. Would not, you know, if someone came to him and said, hey, Gargoyles Season 2 Volume 1 didn't sell that well, could we put like all the rest of Gargoyles into one set? It would be like 5 discs, maybe 6, and we could just get it all out there for the fans. And Bob Chapek, going numbers guy, hypothetically could be like, we're not going to do that, that's 5 discs, we'll just not release it at all. I'm not saying any of that happened, but based on the information that we've had, especially as the spotlight has shifted to Bob Chapek as CEO, it does sort of feel like to me that the lack of, you know, TV releases may have been directly correlated with the lack of a willingness to put out multi-disc sets. Because, well, a lot of the shows that have unreleased episodes have like 20, 30, 40 episodes unreleased, which would require 2 or 3 more volumes in some cases. Or some of the shows like, I don't know, Phineas and Ferb has a lot of episodes. So when it comes down to it, is that the reason why Disney was so bad with their TV releases in the 2000s? And because they've shifted the company into a more streaming focus, is that also why we don't have any more releases like we used to? Like, it's even worse now than it was then. Or is it all to create false scarcity? Now, it could be said that maybe Disney saw the market and thought, well, maybe releasing 90 shows on DVD is just isn't a popular concept. Maybe putting out 2,000 shows as they air isn't a popular concept. And, well, I mean, their biggest competitor, Warner Brothers, was throwing out complete sets of, like, Batman the Animated Series, which aired around the same time as Gargoyles and Spider-Man. So, yeah, maybe the market wasn't ready for it, but at the same time, Warner Brothers certainly wasn't backing away from it, and Disney was just kind of tossing and stopping. So what is false scarcity? False scarcity is the concept of creating scarcity of your product so that people have a higher demand for it. We have seen this in instances of other companies. The Sony PlayStation 5 has been around for 2 years, yet you can't just walk into a store and buy one. Why is that? Because Sony can sell them directly on their website to customers who are desperate to look for a PlayStation 5. They can keep it at arm's reach. They can make sure that the demand always exceeds the supply. That's good for business on paper, but not always good for customer reputation. A lot of people just aren't trying to buy a PS5 anymore because they can't find one after 2 years. A thing that Disney as a company has done recently is that they have a reservation system for the Disney parks. This was implemented, of course, to keep crowds in control during the COVID-19 pandemic, especially during the times when the state was enforcing restrictions on how many people could be in a certain area. Now, while other theme parks such as Universal Studios, Knott's Berry Farm, Six Flags, they all dropped their reservation system when the restriction was lifted, Disney has kept theirs. And Bob Chapek has been in charge, and he's been championing keeping the reservation system, saying it controls crowds, saying that it makes sure that, you know, people have a good experience, when it really doesn't. When the parks are, you know, the way they are, having visited them, I love the Disney parks, but I got stuck on the Incredicoaster because it hadn't been doing maintenance well. Like, the ride just stopped, and I was stuck on a lift hill for a half hour. Or Indiana Jones froze for me in front of a boulder scene. It's not been great, and I think that part of the problem is because they use this reservation system to know how many people are coming to the park. they're not staffing the park like they used to. There's been several cast members that have spoken out on they're not working full-time hours anymore because, well, Bob Chapek wanted to keep his bottom line. So essentially the point I'm trying to get to is false scarcity could also apply to home video releases of shows. Oh, nobody's going to watch the Gargoyles reruns on Disney Channel if they have the DVD. Well, maybe they still will. It's the same argument that was used for the Disney Plus shows not receiving a Blu-ray. The idea that they want everyone to go to Disney Plus, not on home video. Even though pretty much everybody that buys physical media, especially Disney Movie Club people that buy physical media will want the physical media, but they'll watch it on the streaming service. There will be a small crowd that will wait for the physical disc, of course, but it's not going to affect your Disney Plus business because if they're not into streaming, they're not into streaming. But instead, you're locking out the money you could be making from releasing those shows on Blu-ray. And my solution for the Disney Plus shows has always been, put it on Disney Movie Club. If you're that worried it's going to impact your Disney Plus business, anyone that's got Disney Movie Club is probably a Disney Plus subscriber. Because this is the thing that you have to do. When it comes down to it, at the end of the day, do I blame Bob Chapek for everything I've had problems with the Disney Home Entertainment division in terms of their TV shows? Not directly, but boy, does it seem like the bulk of the problems was during the era he was in charge of. And then hearing about how he sort of started micromanaging some of the divisions as CEO, if that is true, it does seem like likely that maybe he put restrictions on the home video department too. Because, well, some of the more recent Disney Blu-rays have had barely any bonus features. The Marvel releases don't have hardly any behind-the-scenes stuff because they put it as a special on Disney Plus instead. Could the reason why Disney's TV releases and movie releases have been so all over the place and weird because Bob Chapek was making sure the bottom line was good? It could be. I'm going to leave this one a little bit open-ended because I can't say for certain. Obviously, there's not interviews with disgruntled home entertainment people going, Bob Chapek was a tyrant in my division, which there are for Imagineers and cast members. So it's hard to say for sure how the home entertainment side went. But if he was anything like he was now, like he was then, it stands to reason that maybe that's why we're in such a weird spot. And maybe stuff like Tangled getting a Blu-ray, or Proud Family getting a complete set, or Chip and Dale getting a Blu-ray complete set, shows that maybe whoever's in charge of Disney Home Entertainment now might have a better idea of, hey, maybe people do want to watch these shows on a disc, while also subscribing to Disney Plus. So that's my video on this. I hope you enjoyed it. I would love to hear your comments and theories in the comments below. I wanted to talk about the incompleteness of Disney shows in a full video before, and learning that Chapek was in charge of that division for that long just was the catalyst to do this. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you think I was a little harsh, if you want to defend Bob Chapek, that's cool. If you want to lambaste Bob Chapek, that's cool. Comments are open for discussion as long as you're not attacking others and causing hate speech, because I will not tolerate that. I will not tolerate anybody being attacked or anybody saying hateful things in the comments. It will not be tolerated. But you can have civil discussions in the comments below. If you disagree on things, that is fine. But don't attack anybody for their opinion, because ultimately, at the end of the day, we're just talking about Disney on Blu-ray and DVD. It's not that serious of a subject. But if you enjoyed this and you want to see more DVD and Blu-ray videos, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the like button just to let me know you enjoyed this. Also be sure to check me out on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Soundout12. Check me out on my live streams Mondays at 5 p.m. Eastern, where I live stream just talking about different things. We talked about Bob Chapek's leaving Disney just a couple days ago, so go check it out if you haven't. Also be sure to check out Hero Club at hero-club.com for news, interviews, and more, and my awesome graphic designer on Twitter at darkclaw643. And until next time, this is Soundout saying goodbye.